What is the extended project? How is it marked? Can I get lower grade offers having done an EP? In this video, we answer your questions on the EPQ and assess whether it's actually worth doing one.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Rohan. I'm a second year medical student studying at Cambridge University. I thought I'd start a series on the EPQ, mainly given the success of my presentation, which I posted on YouTube, but also because I genuinely enjoyed the process and I feel that I can give some useful advice. In this video, we're going to be talking about the basics of what the EPQ is and the reasons why you might consider doing one. So the EPQ stands for Extended Project Qualification, and it's basically a big independent research project, which is worth up to half an A-level. I'm going to be talking about the EPQ from the AQA exam board because this is the most popular exam board. The main components of the qualification are the project product. So for most people, this will consist of a 5,000 word dissertation on their chosen topic, but there's also an option to produce an artifact, so like a composition, a model, or some software, and have a shorter 1,000-word write-up. So basically, this type of project product is more for practical subjects. The second component is a production log. This is at least equally important to the project product. Basically, it is a reflection on the process of actually completing the project. There are certain things that you need to include to score well, and we will do a separate video on this. And finally, a 10 to 15 minute live presentation to a non-specialist audience, including a question and answer section. The EPQ is expected to take around 100 to 120 hours of work. This may seem like a lot, but considering that it's worth up to half an A-level, I think it's actually very reasonable. Depending on your school, the EPQ is either completed in your own time, typically during the summer of year 12, or it may be timetabled into your school weeks. The EPQ is marked by your project supervisor. This is the main person you'll be in contact with during the project. They will typically be a teacher from your school in the chosen subject area, so they can guide you in the right direction. You meet with your supervisor at several points during the project, and you write up these meetings in your production log. Your project will then be moderated by the center coordinator, who basically just checks that the supervisor is being consistent with the marking and is not being too lenient or too harsh in some areas. Then, from the cohort, a few projects will be sent off to external moderation to check that the school or the exam center has been marking projects fairly. The project itself is marked out of 50, and you typically need 44 or 45 for that A star. That sounds like quite a lot, but it's quite doable given that they are looking for certain things, and we'll be dissecting the mark scheme from the specification in future videos. As long as you act on the advice your supervisor gives you, you will score well. Now we come to considering whether it's worth doing an EPQ. The main reason is that it looks really good on your UCAS application. An EPQ is worth half an A-level, so an A star will get you 28 UCAS points. But it's not just the points that count, it's the skills that it demonstrates. Completing an EPQ shows that you have independent research and organizational skills. It's the closest to university level work you'll be doing at school. Some universities even give lower offers if you obtain a certain grade in your EPQ. But be aware, this is not for all courses. Also, it's the ideal type of super-curricular activity that you can talk about in your personal statement or even at interview. The beauty is that you're free to choose pretty much any topic that takes your interest. So in theory, it shouldn't be something laborious, but something which fires you up. Something that means you wouldn't mind committing a couple of weeks of your life working towards. In this way, particularly if you're looking to apply to competitive academic courses, it's a great way to show that you have academic curiosity and engagement with the subject outside the confines of the A-level curriculum. However, I should caveat this by saying that I know many people who got into some of the most competitive courses in the country, but didn't do an EPQ. So although it's helpful to have done one, it's by no means the be-all and end-all. Furthermore, if you're applying to a course which is a bit less academic, it might not be the most useful use of your time, and maybe other things such as work experience or volunteering or getting something a bit more relevant to the type of industry or job that you're looking for, perhaps that would be a better use of your time than doing an EPQ. If you're doing an EPQ in the summer holidays like I did, I highly recommend dedicating a couple of weeks to it towards the start of the holiday. I say towards the beginning, as later on you ideally want to be writing your personal statement and also preparing for admissions tests. So I remember I did 1 week of research, then 1 week putting together my first draft. I feel it's helpful to limit yourself just to a couple of weeks so you just don't go down rabbit holes of researching and you get the first draft done quickly rather than it dragging on over a much longer period and then you miss out on some of that summer holiday. The only situations I'd say it may not be beneficial to do an EP are firstly, if you don't manage to get going with the EPQ over the summer, it might be advisable to drop out at that point, as it would be very challenging to balance EP work alongside applying to university at the start of year 13 and studies for your other A-levels. And secondly, if you are already working at full capacity and you're genuinely super busy, it might not be the best thing to do an EP. However, for most of us, we do actually have sufficient time to get it done, so long as we are disciplined enough just to sit down and get started. The hardest part is probably the research and getting the first draft done. I'd say that's like 90% of the effort, because editing down to your final version is quite straightforward, just back and forth with your supervisor, and for me at least, the production log and the presentation were far easier in comparison. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this in the future. You might also want to check out my other videos in the EP series. I'm sure that you'll find them useful. Anyway, take care and bye for now.